Hello everyone, welcome to watch my presentation for the course Business Analytics. The company that I'm working on is Discover Financial Services. I will use business analytics and data mining to increase return of equity. Discover Financial Services is one of the largest direct banks in the US. And the card business represents 80% of Discover loan portfolio. I researched into this company and find out some problems. So from this chart, we can see that the return of equity in 2015 is 21%, same with 2014 and lower than the previous years. So this trend, we like it to go up. Another problem is about the credit card loans. Though it is on the rise, but we can say that the growth in credit card loans is on a downward trend 2 years in a row. Problem 3 is about the loan losses. We don't want that many loan losses. We want it to go down. So to solve the problem, I set the key performance indicator 1. That's to increase the ROE from 21% to 23%. To achieve this goal, there are two more KPIs. KPI 2 is the total credit card loans. We'd like to have a 5% increase. For KPI 3, we'd like to decrease the loan losses. So 27% of a decrease is the goal. I will use data mining to market the potential credible customers to increase the credit card loans and at the same time reduce marketing expenses and the loan losses. I wish I can find the real data set from the cover company, but no, so I will use a data set that I downloaded from UCI machine learning repository. It is the default of credit card clients in Taiwan. So most of the companies, credit companies, I believe we can find some the same patterns. By analyzing the data, I intend to get the result of predictive accuracy of the estimated probability of default and get the model of most likely customers and do marketing based on specific category of customers to attract more new customers, to increase loans and decrease loan losses. This research employed a binary variable. So default payment, yes means 1 means those are not good client, and no equals 0 means they are good customers. The data set variables, we can say this data set has 30,000 clients, and we will analyze the limit balance, gender, education, marriage, age, history of a payment, and the bill for the recent months. And the final one is default payment next month. It has a 0, that means good customers, and 1 means default customers. I will use IBM Watson Analytics to deal with the data. Before I use the Watson Analytics, I also used Excel to do some prediction. So from I use count if and average if, and from this we can see that seems female has a little bit more limit balance than male, and also female the default payment next month is lower. Marriage and single seems married people seems has more limit balance than the single people. And the married people, they are more credible than the single people. It's just relatively. For education, and we can see it is pretty obvious that graduate degree has the highest limit balance compared with college education and high school education. And also graduate people with graduate degree, they have less default payment next month. So now it is the IBM Watson Analytics time. I'm going to the website. I have added the data in IBM Watson Analytics and I found some discoveries. So I'm going to click it. So the first question I asked IBM Watson is what drives default payment next month? So from this chart, we can see very previously, you see here, so pay 5, pay 0, that means the history payment. If it is less than 0, that means they paid duly. If it is 1, that means 1 month delay. 2 means 2 months delay. So they are pretty correlated with the default payment next month. And I would take pay 0 for example. That's the payment. That's the history payment in the recent months. Still the pay, that means they are pretty correlated and pretty related. And also about the bill. Okay, let's move on. So about the history payment and education and the sex. So let's see that from this one we can see that number one as the graduate degree, graduate. So we can see that if it is less than 0, that means they have very good credit history. That means they usually they pay duly. So we say graduate school they have a good credit, and college and high school uh, less credible. And also we can say two is female. Female has better credit than the male. So let's say another chart. This is pay 2, similar to pay 1 compared by education and sex. So similar trend. Let's say the history payment and age. So from this one, it's also very obvious that the people in their early 20s, their credit pay, their history is not that good. Sometimes they have some default. And when people they're in their late 20s to see here 50s, it's pretty stable that they have a less default. And people above 60, that's kind of complicated because there will be some rich people and someone not rich, so it's more complicated. Okay, let's say their limit balance compared by sex. So from this one, we can see that there's not very obvious difference, but just the female woman has a little bit higher limit balance than men. Say the limit balance granted by the bank compared by education, we can see that number one, graduate degree, they have a relatively high limit, and this is college, this is high school, and 4, 5, 6 is kind of weird because when I download the data set, it doesn't explain 4, 5, 6 education what they meant, but I'm really interested in what is 4. Yes, okay. So next one. So this is the limit balance compared by age, and we can see young people less balance, less limit, and older people higher balance. Pretty obvious. And the limit balance compared by age and education. So still here we can say that this is a one. That means a graduate school, they have a higher limit balance. And men and women, not very obvious difference. And a two as a college, less. And a three as high school and kind of similar and probably a little bit less. And 456, I'm not sure what kind of education it exactly refers to, but from this is pretty obvious. So this is a limit balance compared by bill. And we can see that people older was a higher limit balance, and their bill is kind of have some correlation. So younger less because less limit, so less bill. So this is a bill, how much money they own, and compared by age. So younger, less bill because less limit, and older. And when people are really old, I believe they have really rich older people there. Okay, I cannot find my decision tree. Okay, I'm going to do it right now. So default payment. So what's the predictive model for default payment next month? Okay, so here. So predicting if it is a zero, that means no default or less no default. So let's see. The number one, and the predictive strength is 82%. That is satisfying. And the pay, the bill, the limit balance, and some pay. So you see, the pay 0 to 6, that's the history payment, and when it is negative, that means they paid duties, and when it is one means 1 month delay. So this is pretty good. When it is below zero, that means no default. And this one, limit balance, pay still negative, negative. Okay, now let's change it to 1. That means the default. So we see the pay when they are 2 months delay, 3 months delay, 4 months delay, then definitely and not. So very obviously it means they have default next month. And this one's 2 means 2 months in delay. 2 months delay, and then pay 0, that means 0 months delay. So that means when they have some default history, that means next month their default possibility is pretty high. So that's the Watson analytics. That's the insights that I found from data mining. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. After analyzing, I'm going to use a raw card model to review this. So our objective KPI 1 is increase ROE 2%, and KPI 2 is so increase credit card loans by 5%, and KPI 3 is decrease loan losses from 1,500 to 1,100. And the critical success factor is for this one is match clients' needs and offers, retain credible clients, and appeal to more such good clients. And this one For decreased loan losses, we'll classify the default potential clients and decrease their limit balance or suspend, even cancel their account. So for the lead and the lag information, we need to know who to decrease limit or suspend and when and how, who to retain and when and how, and also use the payment history and campaign effects to identify the lag information. Conclusion. So for the cover, achieving KPI 2 of increasing the credit card loans by 5% and achieving KPI 3 of decreasing the loan losses are the research key to achieve KPI 1, improve ROE from 21% to 23%. Thank you for watching. Bye.